Hello friends, myself Dr. Seema Dhawan, Department of Education, HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Uttarakhand. Today we will discuss on the module on the recommendations of various committees and commissions on higher education. At the time of independence, there were 17 universities and 636 colleges with a total enrollment of 2,38,000 students. Vocational and technical education at that time was poorly developed and the supply of high level trained scientific human resource was very limited. Educational inequalities were very large, especially between one region and the other, between urban and rural areas, between men and women. The standard of education were generally unsatisfactory. Against the above background, several committees and commissions were constituted to analyze the problems and suggest the way forward. It was felt that universities could play a significant role in the development process and recognized that the duties and responsibilities of the universities were significant and needed in the light of the leadership they were expected to provide in politics, administration and professions and industry. So, the first commission formed was the Commission on University Education. The commission was appointed under the chairmanship of Dr. S. Radhakrishnan and the commission named University Education Commission 1949. Its major emphasis was on higher education. It defined the vital task of higher education. It says the aims of an university should be to produce able citizens who can take up national responsibilities successfully in various fields, because it has to produce able administrators and suitable workers in various occupations and industries. It has to provide leadership in various walks of life. Mostly mass lecture is common form of instruction at this level, and it says that it should not be supplemented by library work, tutorials and written exercises, ensuring that tutorials does not become coaching for exams only. Standards of MA and MSc degree should be raised by regulating admissions as per the facilities and faculty. It emphasizes to introduce at least earliest reliable objective examination in universities in higher education. Given the critical role of teachers in transmission of knowledge, replace their differential scales of pay across different disciplines and institutions by uniform scale of pay. It emphasizes on the importance of teachers and its responsibility. The success of the educational process depends so much on the character and abilities of the teacher that in any plan of university reform, the main concern must be for securing an adequate staff with qualifications necessary for discharge of its many-sided duties. The primary responsibility of the teacher is to arouse the interest of the pupils in the field of study for which he is responsible. He has not merely to convey factual information to the students, but he has to stimulate the spirit of inquiry and criticism so that minds may acquire the habit of exercising independent and unbiased judgment and learn to discriminate between adequate and inadequate, relevant and irrelevant data, and to avoid the extremes of haste and indecision in arriving at conclusions, especially in the field of higher education. We know that knowledge is never complete and is always advancing. So, the commission recommends in the field of higher education, especially in the areas of teachers and teaching learning process, it emphasizes that the importance of the teacher and his responsibility be recognized. There should be 4 classes of teachers: professors, readers, lecturers and instructors. That each university should have some research fellows also, and promotions from one category to another be solely on the ground of merits. The scales of salaries for university teachers be professor from 900 to 1350, and for research fellows it should be from rupees 250 to 500. Similarly, the scales of salaries for affiliated colleges with no postgraduate classes and which have postgraduate classes, the grades are described by this commission. It says that care be taken for the selection of proper teachers. The proportion of junior posts, lecturers or instructors, the senior ones, professors and readers be roughly. The age of retirement be ordinarily 60, but extensions be allowed up to 64 in the case of professor. That conditions regarding provident fund, leave and hour of work be definitely let down. That the standard of admission to the university courses should correspond to that of the present intermediate examination. In each province of large number of well equipped and well staffed intermediate colleges should be established. In order to divert students to different vocations after 10th to 12th years of schooling, a large number of occupational institutes should be opened and refresher courses be organized by the universities for high school and intermediate college teachers also. To avoid overcrowding at the universities and colleges, the maximum numbers in the arts and science faculties of a teaching university be fixed at 3000 and in an affiliated college it should be 1500. Similarly, the number of working days be substantially increased to ensure a minimum of 180 days in a year exclusive of examination days with 3 terms, each of about 11 weeks duration. Lectures be carefully planned and supplemented by tutorials, library work and written exercises. There would be no prescribed textbooks for any courses of studies. Attendance at lectures be compulsory for the undergraduate students, and private candidates of only certain categories be allowed to appear for public examination. An experiment should however be made with evening colleges for working people. The commission recommends that tutorial instructions be developed in all institutions imparting university education by students should report to tutors in groups not exceeding 6 in numbers. That a limited number of students should interact with their respective teachers. Tutorials should be made available to all undergraduates, both the pass course and for the students who are opting for honors. And tutorials should stimulate the mental development of students and should not become mere coaching for examination. And it says that if tutorials are to succeed, the teaching of staff should be improved in quality and in quantity also. The university libraries be greatly improved by larger number of grants, the introduction of the open access system by providing longer hours of work, better organization and a well trained staff which should include reference assistants, and the laboratories be improved in building also, funding, equipments, workshops and technicians of course.